Welcome to Learn English Fast.
Speak English with confidence.
Hey everyone, welcome back to the English Learning Podcast. I'm your host, Henry, and today we're going to talk about something that almost every English learner feels at some point: the fear of speaking English. Have you ever wanted to say something in English, but your mind suddenly went blank? Or maybe you knew the words, but your mouth just didn't want to move? You felt nervous, your heart started beating fast, and you thought, what if I make a mistake? If that sounds familiar, don't worry, you're not alone. Many English learners all around the world feel exactly the same way. Even people who have studied English for years sometimes feel afraid to speak. In today's episode, we're going to talk about why this happens, what's really behind this fear, and most importantly, how you can overcome it. I'll share simple steps, real examples, and motivation to help you speak English with confidence. So, if you've ever said to yourself, "I'm afraid to speak English," then stay with me. This episode is made for you. So, why are so many people afraid to speak English? Let's be honest. Speaking a new language in front of others can feel scary. You're not just using words, you're showing a part of yourself, and that can make anyone feel nervous. One of the biggest reasons is fear of making mistakes. Many learners think, if I make a grammar mistake or say a word wrong, people will laugh at me. But here's the truth. Mistakes are a natural part of learning any language. Nobody starts perfect. Even native speakers make mistakes in their own language every day. Another reason is fear of judgment. You might worry that people will think you're not smart enough or not good enough at English. But most people are not judging you. They're actually happy that you're trying to speak their language. Some people are afraid because they don't have confidence. Maybe they haven't practiced speaking much. Maybe they've never spoken to a native speaker before. So when it finally happens, they freeze. Their mind says, "What if I can't say anything?" And sometimes the fear comes from past experiences. Maybe someone laughed at you when you tried to speak English. Or maybe a teacher corrected you too strictly. Those moments can stay in your memory and make you afraid to try again. But the truth is, every English learner, yes, every single one, goes through this stage. Even people who speak English fluently today once felt afraid to open their mouths. So, if you feel this way, please remember, you are not strange, and you are not alone. It's a common fear, but it's also something you can overcome, step by step. Now, let's talk a little about what's happening inside your mind when you feel afraid to speak English. You see, fear isn't just an emotion. It's also a reaction from your brain. When you're about to speak English, especially in front of others, your brain starts thinking, "This is dangerous. What if something goes wrong?" Even though speaking English isn't really dangerous, your brain treats it like a big risk, just like it would if you were standing on the edge of a cliff. This is called the fight or flight reaction. Your heart beats faster, your palms get sweaty, your body feels tense, and your mind starts saying, "Maybe I shouldn't speak. That's your brain trying to protect you from embarrassment or failure. Another reason is perfectionism. Many learners think they must speak perfect English before they open their mouths. They want every word, every grammar rule, and every pronunciation to be correct. But here's the thing: perfectionism creates pressure. And when you're under pressure, your brain becomes nervous, and it's harder to speak. There's also the fear of being judged. Humans naturally want to be accepted and respected. So, when we speak in another language, we feel more exposed. We worry that people might notice our accent or mistakes, and that fear makes us quiet. But remember this: your brain is not your enemy. It's just trying to keep you safe. Once you understand that your fear is a normal body reaction, not a real danger, you can start to control it. So next time you feel nervous, take a deep breath and remind yourself, I'm not in danger. I'm just learning. I'm safe to speak. That simple thought can calm your mind and help you speak with more confidence. Now that we understand what happens in our mind when we feel afraid, let's talk about some common reasons why people feel nervous when speaking English. The first reason is lack of practice. Many learners study English for years. They read books, do grammar exercises, and watch videos, but they don't speak much. So, when they finally have to talk to someone, it feels strange and uncomfortable. It's like learning to swim by reading a book. You will only feel confident when you actually get in the water. The second reason is fear of making grammar mistakes. Many learners think, if I make a mistake, people will laugh at me. But honestly, most people don't care about small mistakes. What they care about is understanding you. English is about communication, not perfection. The third reason is pronunciation problems. Sometimes learners know the right words, but they're not sure how to say them correctly. They feel shy or embarrassed about their accent, but your accent is part of who you are. You don't need to sound like a native speaker to speak confidently. You just need to be clear and understandable. Another reason is comparing yourself to others. Maybe you have a friend who speaks English better or faster than you, and then you start thinking, I'm not good enough. But comparing yourself doesn't help. Everyone learns at a different speed. You're on your own journey. And finally, negative past experiences can make you nervous. Maybe you once tried to speak English and someone laughed or corrected you in a rude way. That memory can stay in your mind and make you scared to try again. But remember, one bad experience doesn't define you. Every time you speak, you're improving. Every mistake is a step forward. So the next time you feel nervous, just remind yourself, it's okay to be afraid. But I'm learning, and I'm getting better each time I speak. Now, let's talk about how this fear actually affects your English learning. When you're afraid to speak, you avoid practice. You might study grammar, read books, or watch English videos, but you don't use the language in real life. And that's where the real learning happens, in speaking. Think about it like this: you can't learn to play guitar just by reading about it. You have to pick up the guitar and play, again and again. It's the same with English. If you don't speak, your brain doesn't get used to forming English sentences quickly. You may understand everything, but when it's time to talk, your words don't come out easily. Fear also creates a cycle. You feel afraid, you avoid speaking, your confidence stays low, and then you feel even more afraid. It becomes a loop that keeps you stuck at the same level for months or even years. But when you start speaking even a little bit every day, that cycle starts to break. Your brain begins to realize, hey, this isn't so bad. I can do this. Each small conversation gives you a little more confidence, and that's how real fluency begins. So, the more you face your fear, the faster you grow. Avoiding speaking slows your progress, but speaking, even imperfectly, speeds it up. All right, now let's talk about the most important part: how to overcome the fear of speaking English. You don't have to be fearless overnight. Confidence grows step by step. So here are some simple and effective ways you can start building that confidence today. Step 1. Start small. You don't need to speak in front of a big group. Begin by talking to yourself in English. Describe what you're doing, like, I'm making tea, or I'm going to the shop. You can also record your voice and listen to it. At first, it might feel strange, but it helps you get comfortable hearing yourself speak English. Step 2. Practice with safe people. Find a friend, family member, or language partner who supports you. Someone who won't judge you or laugh at your mistakes. If you don't have anyone, try online English-speaking communities. There are many friendly people who want to practice too. Step 3. Focus on communication, not perfection. Your goal is not to speak perfect English. Your goal is to make people understand you. If someone understands what you said, then congratulations. You just communicated successfully. That's what language is for. Step 4. Think in English. Start training your brain to think in simple English sentences. Instead of translating from your native language, try to use English words directly in your thoughts. For example, instead of thinking, I'm hungry in your language, say it in English inside your head. This helps you speak faster and more naturally. Step 5. Celebrate small wins. Every time you say something in English, even if it's just one sentence, be proud of yourself. You faced your fear. That's progress. Confidence doesn't come from being perfect. It comes from trying again and again until it feels normal. So remember, you don't need to wait until you're ready. You become ready by starting. Take one small step today, and you'll be one step closer to speaking English with confidence. Let me share a real-life example with you. A few years ago, I met a student named Maria. She was from Brazil, and she had studied English for almost 5 years. Her grammar was good, her vocabulary was strong, but she was terrified to speak. Every time someone asked her a question in English, she froze. She said her mind went blank, and she was afraid of saying something wrong. But then, Maria decided to change her approach. She started small, just talking to herself every morning while getting ready for work. She would describe her day in English. I'm brushing my teeth. I'm going to take the bus. I have a meeting today. After a few weeks, she joined a small English-speaking group online. At first, her voice shook when she spoke, but the group was friendly, and they encouraged her to keep going. Slowly, her confidence grew. She made mistakes, yes, but she learned from them. And one day, she told me, "Henry, I'm not afraid anymore. I can finally enjoy speaking English." Her secret wasn't perfect English. It was practice, patience, and courage. And that's something you can do too. Before we end today's episode, I want to remind you of something important. You don't need to be perfect to speak English. You just need to be brave. Every time you speak, even if you make mistakes, you're growing. Every sentence you say makes you a little more confident, a little more fluent, and a little less afraid. Remember, fear is normal, but it doesn't have to control you. The more you speak, the smaller that fear becomes. So don't wait until you feel ready. Start today. Speak to yourself, speak to a friend, or speak online. Just open your mouth and let the words come out. You have everything you need to succeed. You just need to start. Thank you so much for listening to the English Learning Podcast. I'm Henry, and I hope today's episode helps you feel stronger and more confident in your English journey. Until next time, keep practicing, keep smiling, and keep speaking English.